Welcome. My name's Gaynor from FitFish, and today I'm talking about Creator God, which is something a bit different perhaps, but I've been learning a bit recently, and I guess having some revelations that have made me think slightly differently about my journey and the impact of that on my body, spirit, soul, health. So I wanted to share that with you. So do you know any what you would call really creative people, the kind of people you go to a party and every detail is color coordinated and really well thought out and connected to the theme? Perhaps you've been to a wedding where the bride or the groom has done all the decorations and all the planning and down to the last detail of the straw in your glass. Everything's coordinated. Or maybe you've been to a baby shower where just an incredible amount of effort has gone into the theme. Or perhaps you love organizing parties and you love the themes and the fancy dress and everything. Or perhaps you know someone who's really good at art. I've got a good friend who's an illustrator. That's her job, and I'm amazed by that gift and that talent that she has. So we all know what we would class as creative people, the kind of people who love hobbycraft and can go into hobbycraft, spend a small amount of money and then make something amazing. But actually, we're all creative, created and creative. But our creativity is inherently limited because we can all create, we can all write a letter out of words. Perhaps you can bake a cake, perhaps you can turn data into graphs and pie charts, perhaps you turn a business into reality, perhaps you put your clothes together really well. We all make things out of elements that we find around us. We all arrange elements in pleasing ways. However, we can only arrange what has already been created. And this is a really interesting way of thinking about it, because in contrast, God's creativity knows no bounds. He has the power to bring forth something out of nothing. And this revelation is really awe-inspiring because we just cannot get our head around it. Our ideas and creations are all composed of things that we already know and that already exist in the world. So the best painter in the world, perhaps you've got a favorite like Van Gogh or Monet or Picasso, they're brilliant and they're talented, but they're pulling together colors that God has already created. They're pulling together materials onto a page that are made out of something creative. So if you think about a color wheel, Now think of a completely new color, one that hasn't been invented yet. It's impossible. You can't. Any color that you create in your head, in your mind, is a combination of colors that you already know. You could think, oh yeah, but it's a shade of green I haven't really seen for a while, but it's a shade of green. Or it's a turquoise. It's this wonderful combination of green and blue and white, but it's a combination of green and blue and white. And that just blows my mind, the fact that God invented colors, and if God wanted to, he could invent a new color. We cannot comprehend what that could be or what that would be like, but he can. God, as the creator, has the power to bring forth things out of nothing, and that's such an amazing revelation, and one of the ways that makes him so incomprehensible and sets him apart from humans. In Nehemiah 9:6, it expresses God's creative power. It says, he alone is the Lord who made the heavens, the earth, and everything within them. The stars, the seas, and all the living beings owe their existence to him. God breathes life into everything, and even the heavenly multitudes worship him. So God's creativity, we see it all around us, but it expands far beyond the created natural world. He can bring new creations about in our lives as well. So what have you witnessed in your life where God has created something out of nothing already? I'd love to hear. Have a think about this one and type something. Is it health after illness? Is it a restoration of a relationship that you thought was gone? Is it Was it a voice in the stillness where you've actually heard God's voice come out of nothing? Was it new hope when you thought all hope was gone? Was it a provision of finance in a hopeless situation? What have you experienced where something has come from nothing, and that can only be God? So some thoughts that I've had as financial provision, so running your own organization can be a little bit uncomfortable at times and a bit of a roller coaster. And there's been many times where I have not known how the money is going to come for an invoice or a payment, and yet God provides. I remember one particular time we had to cancel a retreat, but we had to pay a cancellation fee, and I just could not find the funds to do that. And I agreed that we could stagger the payments and I could pay £200 per month. But even that was like, where's that extra 200 going to come from? And I was just going through the bank account, checking on a few things. And I realized that someone, instead of donating their normal £5 per month, had changed it to £200 a month. And obviously I thought it was a mistake. So I contacted them. And it turns out they were in between churches and they wanted to tithe some money to Fitfish for 10 months, which was exactly the amount of time that I needed that extra £200 a month. So that is an amazing story. I've also seen a leg grow. So someone had a short leg, shorter than the other, and I've seen it grow seemingly from nothing. And I've also seen sight restored. And I've also had a couple of really personal things happen where I feel like I've had a bit of a heart transplant, that I've had a complete change of heart. So what examples have you got? Don't let me do all the sharing. I'd love to know where have you seen something come out of nothing? And let's encourage each other and share those things, because it's witness to God's amazing creative power. And let's notice these moments more around us. Let's be vigilant for them in our lives so we're inspired to give him thanks and praise. And by acknowledging his creative power, we draw closer to him and we deepen our connection to him. So what do you want God to do for you? What in your life appears hopeless or empty? Do you believe God can make something out of nothing? Have you asked him, or have you been too scared to ask? And on the opposite side, what has God already given you where you can create something? What's he given to you where you can create something? And how does this relate to your health in body, spirit, and soul? How can you take what he has given you and create it into something better? Perhaps your relationship with him, perhaps using your time and your gifting in writing, taking time and a pen and paper to draw closer to him, perhaps doing what you can to improve a health situation that you're doing by taking your knowledge and your power and using things around you, like foods, like environment, to make a health situation better. Is it embracing a creative gift that you've just pushed to one side and never had the time for? Is it using your skills to help others so that you can create something out of nothing, or helping someone else to create something out of nothing? And what can that mean for you? And where you're struggling in your health, is there anything you can do? Is there anything that God's just saying, look, I have given you these things, these tools, and you can create something, you can do something here. So how can we ask him to create something from nothing? And how can we make something from what he has given us? I hope that's really helpful for you. I'd love to hear. Let's encourage each other with stories of where God has created something from nothing. Okay, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.